welcome to another episode of Ohiohammer Videocast. I'm Andrew Sherman, and playing against me today is going to be Scott Helbling. Pictured here in the picture, Scott is a longtime Skaven player. Been playing for a good number of years. We met over this last year over at the Toledo Game Room, and getting a chance to play a 2,500 point battle with the Buckeye Battles comp pack. This is actually prep for 2015, assuming they use the same pack. As far as my 2,500 point Empire list, I've got 2 units of Demigryphs here on the left-hand side with a steam tank in the center. Then you can see a cannon on the right-hand side. Opting for 2 units as opposed to 1 unit of 5 because I think it might be better for me in this game. A unit of 40 halberders in the center, followed by another steam tank. Yes, this is still me on the kick of 2 double steam tank. Not really a fan of it anymore as time goes on. Not because they're not effective, it's just because they're unreliable. It seems they don't move the way I want to. Going farther to the right, that unit that does look like Skaven slaves in the center there, that's actually a detachment for the swordsmen right next to the wall, and then a unit of knights on the right-hand side. Inside that unit of swordsmen, I do have a wizard and a witch hunter, rocking Laura Life this time. And that's up close here on the unit of swordsmen. Again, a witch hunter and a level 4 of life in this list. Trying to stay above 0.1 for Buckeye Battles comp, assuming they use the same Swedish system as next year. The other thing I have up here is I have 2 units of 10 swordsmen. That way I can have some scouts. Basically, this is so that way elves don't vanguard against me. Scott's 2,500 point list, starting from my right, would be a rat dart, followed by a warp lightning cannon up on the hill, a unit of slaves in the center, a rat dart. Directly to the left of that, a unit of slaves behind that that's actually got his Gracier in it, as well as the unit of Stormvermin with his big bad warlord in it. Another warp lightning cannon behind it. To the left of the warp lightning cannon, another unit of Skaven slaves, another unit of Skaven slaves, followed by a doom wheel, and after that, in the rocks, which you can't really see right now, is a conga line of 2 rat ogres, which kind of acts like a Skaven version of a chariot in the current edition of the rules. I actually like this unit, and you'll see a formation here in the next picture. It's just because it hits with, I think it's 7 strength, 5 attacks, plus 1 strength, 3 for the pack master. It's pretty small overall, it's pretty maneuverable, and yeah, it's frenzied, but it's meant to go in there and just cause some damage for 88 points. Now you'll notice he's got 2 units of gutter runners too. Now these things scare the holy bejesus out of me. Why? Because I've got a couple of cannons, and with war machines and gutter runners on the board at the same time, it's never a good combination. You typically lose all your war machines. He typically loses none of his gutter runners, and it just seems to be a big headache for anybody who plays war machines when they play Skaven. So I get the top of turn 1. I move my entire army line forward a little bit, kind of in a U shape. The big thing about turn 1, though, is you're going to see in the next frame is I get lucky with some ballistic skill shooting, and I kill a couple of rat darts. Now, this isn't huge as far as causing panic tests, making the entire line waver, but it is huge because it stops him from redirecting in my way. On his right side, he goes ahead and he moves forward with the rat ogres, and then on his turn, the rest of his turn, he goes ahead and he just moves his entire battle line forward. He didn't make a charge over at the Huntsman. I think they were like 15, 16 inches, so he didn't want to go ahead and take a long charge. Instead, he just wanted to move forward 10, and this is kind of what it looks like. So after a bad magic and shooting phase for him, this is kind of what the board looks like. He actually doesn't kill hardly anything on this first turn. Kind of really bad. I don't even remember if he misfired and just turned his cannons around, but his doom wheel is actually gone. I think he blew it up because he rolled a misfire on there. And yeah, on my turn, you'll see I get a couple of lucky charges. I get the Demigryphs on the left-hand side, get a charge up into the slaves. And you'll notice here in a following picture that I do get the charge off on the Demigryphs onto the rat ogres on the side. Yeah, so the Demis take care of that rat ogre conga line that's over there on the side, and it moves over into his turn. And the big news is his gutter runners come on board. One right behind, you can see the cannon on the top and the steam tank over there in the bottom. Come right behind them on my backboard edge, and then it gets over to his magic and shooting phase, and I'm not exactly sure how this happened, but originally my huntsmen are sitting there next to the unit of knights, and the knights are now gone. So one of 2 things happened, and I forget which one it was. Either he hits me with a plague spell, or he hits me with the warp lightning cannon and just takes off the knights and makes them run off the board. Either way, the knights are gone. This is just a picture to show you the trees are back because the knights are no longer there. It's kind of scary. It kind of bothers me because now my right flank why it's still being held by the building. It's completely gone. The strongest unit I got that's not demi-griffins. Okay, so we're moving on to my turn 3 now. As you can see, the battle line's really coming close together. This is one of the situations where it's going to get all hairy and messy in the center. One notable thing is on the right-hand side, you'll notice that my huntsman on the right-hand side charge forward into the cannon and get rid of the cannon. That's kind of huge because, you know, once that cannon's gone, I really don't have any major threats except for combat anymore and any magic. On the left-hand side, my demi-griffins that were in combat with the first unit of slaves, they kill the slaves during his last turn, which allowed them to to reform and to charge this unit of slaves this turn. It's not going to be over with quick. When we get to his turn, he goes ahead and he charges my steam tank because I really gave him no other option to. That big bad warlord on a war litter there, he's what I'm scared of. He's got some couple of high strength attacks. You can see he's already chipping off wounds. Now that my demigriffs are starting to come over from the left-hand side, you know, I can take a whole look at the entire board. It's kind of looking like it's, you know, pretty well in my favor at this point in time, points-wise. I'm feeling pretty good. I've got a battle line that I like. I can really kind of sucker him in. Pretty soon, that halberd horde there, that's going to get a chance to charge into the slaves. You can see he's already starting to make moves behind the unit of storm vermin there to reinforce that area because he sees it as too much of a juicy charge that I have sitting there. What can I say? You know, you can't go ahead and you can't deny. It looks like it's going to be a juicy charge and be taken advantage of. You can see he's chipping off more wounds as turns go on. I think I got a wound right now on his Skaven warlord, but he's got 4 on my steam tank. It's only a matter of time before I actually lose this thing. All right, and then we move back into my turn again, and you'll notice a couple of things. One, the halberds got the charge on the slaves just as I had intended. On the bottom of the screen, you'll see that he's had another unit of gutter runners enter the board, but my Pegasus rider that I have over there was able to make a long charge and get to them, so they hopefully will be dealt with soon. Finally, you'll notice he did get Dreaded 13th off on my detachment because by now he's actually gotten some good hits on, I think, Dreaded 13th onto the actual main unit of swordsmen there, leaving it weak, and so he was able to get a charge off onto the rats. This is kind of scary for me because I have my witch hunter as well as my wizard in there. Combat in the center is still going his way. He's still chipping off wounds after wounds, but now that I'm in combat with the slaves, hopefully I'm going to be able to break through, and swarm them around. That's kind of my plan as it goes. So the other big thing that happens right now is in the top of the screen, the top right-hand side, you'll see that my huntsman has rear charged the slave unit. The reason why this is because I'm in combat with the swordsman unit below. I don't want that slave unit coming in and just wiping me out. I'm trying to use it as a stall tactic because he's hit Dreaded 13th off on this slave unit, or in this detachment that was next to mine, and now it's forced me to have to go ahead and act because he's whittled the unit down so much. I'm down to a witch hunter, a life wizard, and just command models left, and it's pretty scary. Moving on toward that combat, we're still, you know, just hammering away on wounds. Pretty soon I'm going to win this thing in the next picture, and you're going to see how I reform. The demigriffs that were off on the far left flank, they're starting to swing around toward the center. You can see my battle lines being reinforced, and then this is the perfect picture of that unit of slaves after it actually popped, and this is what it looks like. You would say really that with the gutter runners being down at the bottom, they ran away from the Pegasus, that I'm in really good shape. I took this picture in order to show you what it was like when he tried to charge his slaves on into my halberders. He fell short, so he set himself up for a perfect charge from my halberders and my demi-griffins. Go ahead and I charge them the next turn. You'll see in the next following picture what it looks like after I've hit them, overran, and gotten behind the storm vermin unit. He's kind of at a loss right now with that storm vermin unit because he's stuck in a position. He just broke there on the right hand side. The rats that he dreaded 13th and created, they just broke for my swordsman. And because of the position they're at right now, I have one of two choices. I can either let them sit right in front of that storm vermin unit, which is what I opt to do. Let them sit there in front, move the swordsman on the right back, and just down toward me some, and basically have him block himself up. This means that on his turn, he's not able to charge anything. He tries to charge the slaves on into the characters. I'm far enough away from the board. I do flee because there's no reason not to. He's going to have to just go ahead and reform with that unit of with that unit of Storm Vermin there, and he's going to get suckered into taking a rear charge here afterwards. His unit, he doesn't rally the slaves. They're on the side. They continue to run through just to get out of the way, of course. It seems like it always works that way when things go bad for you. Poor Scott, you know, he takes things with a smile every single time. He does cast some spells over there. I want to say it's like Scorched Lightning, or, you know, whatever it is, the Scorched spell. He does go ahead and get everything but my characters. It's kind of funny because he got the unit but not any of the characters. And then afterwards, on my turn, what am I able to do? I'm able to throw the steam tank on into the front. I'm able to go ahead and charge the first unit of demi-griffins past into the second unit of slaves, and I'm able to charge both the halberders and the third unit of demi-griffins both into the rear. Now again, I think when I look at this picture, this is a little deceiving. I think he was actually facing the other direction, is what we said. But yeah, you can see after combat here, you know, basically I've wiped him, you know, pretty much completely at this point in time. He's got nothing left. Other than he's got, you know, his Warlord and maybe his Grayseer sitting there. This is going to turn into, you know, them breaking because, you know, I've killed probably 30 models in this first round. He's not going to roll Snake Eyes, and this is going to turn into a big win to me. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this video cast. If you would, please leave feedback on the bottom of the YouTube page, and other than that, we'll talk to you guys next time.